Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear perfectly. Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm using my new cell phone, so this is the first Skype call I've got on my new iPhone 7.
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm David from Metal Shock Finland.
Was I missing your... No, you just called, so it's not me. Okay.
No, you called,
Yeah, I was
so
just on the phone with my lawyer, so...
yeah.
One of my lawyers. I
Yeah.
spend so much money on lawyers. It's
Oh,
fucking
no.
ridiculous.
Okay, cool.
$500 an hour. That's how much they charge.
Whoa, yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So
If you don't care, I'm just trying to warm up here.
yeah. Okay, but like, should we start?
So
like...
you're from Finland?
Actually, I'm originally from Chile. I live here in Finland, and I'm actually writing for this Finnish web scene, and that's how I ended up calling you.
Yeah, I was supposed to play Finland at the what's it called, like the Steel Fest or something?
Yeah, Steel Fest. Yes.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you heard the story, but I heard they were blamed it on me, saying that I canceled out or something. But what happened was, I had booked the show, and we were doing it for a festival. It was pretty cheap. I think we booked for 32,000 euros or something.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good payday for us, you know. And then when it all was said and done, part of our agreement, which I had in writing, was that they would pay for our plane tickets, right?
Yeah.
And then they said, oh no, we don't want to pay for the plane tickets now. And I was like, wow, will you you said you would, and I kind of complained for a couple emails. Sorry. And then, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just don't want to interrupt you.
I said, well, how about, we split the cost, because the guy, the go-between between, I guess, all these festivals are run by committees now, right? Which don't give a fuck about, they give a fuck about the bottom line. They don't give a fuck about metal or music or artists or anything like that. And that I'm not complaining about that. That's just neither here nor there, and just the way of commerce and the way the industry is now, right?
Yeah.
But see, what happened was the go-between between me and the Steelfest, he fucked up, right? And he told me, oh, I don't want to get in trouble. So what he did is he passed the buck on me and said, Jeff's being a rock star, and he's saying he won't play unless you pay for that. Like he tried to remedy his mistake by using me as leverage, And they were like, well, fuck him, then we'll get somebody cheaper.
Okay.
And so like a week before we were supposed to leave, they canceled me. And I was like, well, can't you tell them I'll even pay for the tickets? And he's like, no, it's too late. But he was saving his own ass by passing the buck to me, And then so all the rumors went around that, oh, Jeff, rock started out and canceled the Steelfest last minute. And they totally passed the buck on me when I was like offering to literally fly myself out there and do everything, because this little weasel guy lied,
Oh, no.
Anyway, I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
So I haven't been invited back to Finland because of that.
Oh, no.
And I think I usually get offers from Finland, but none have come because, it's a small country, and then I shit all over my reputation.
Oh, no.
So,
yeah, that's such a shame.
I swear to God, on the Holy Bible, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Mom.
Yeah. So, but how are you otherwise doing today?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I just had to. I figured you're from Finland, so I would bitch at you for a second. I'm doing good.
Yeah, but the album is finally out.
Are you purposely running in front of me? Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
The album finally came out like last Friday. It was like over 30 years after your last release, and I wanted to congratulate you. I've been listening to it since it came out, and I really enjoyed it.
You like it?
Yeah, I've been listening it at the gym, and I feel like I'm a lot more stronger than usual. So how are you feeling?
I think it's a solid album. It's weird how you look at the reviewers and everybody's got their different take on it, and Possessed has always been kind of a misinterpreted, misunderstood band. Like, they want to compare us to other bands, right? And they're saying, well, it's not that technical gymnastics like Cattle Decap or one of those other kind of. I'm like, no, see, Cattle Decap's a fine, great band. Possessed is a different band, and I think that rather than compare us with other bands, I think that journalists should really start looking at the individual band, and which you have been doing. But I've noticed in a lot of the reviews, their main premise is to compare you with other acts, and I think that's like unfair to make it a competition when they're all basically gifts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nowadays,
that sounds so
especially
like pious, but it's true. Like I don't think that that comparison or that kind of that rivalry that the press creates between bands is unhealthy. But what I noticed is that Possessed is kind of often misunderstood, and I just want people to kind of like think of the history. Like much like Venom created black metal. Yeah. Possessed was the first death metal band, but I think it's an unfair comparison to try to translate that to modern day terms. But of course, it's human. It's the human condition, and life is unfair. But I think that people should pay attention to like the history rather than we're trying to evolve just like everybody else, but yet we're really strong to our roots and our old school fan base. So anyway, it's a hard dichotomy there. It's like with this first album, we didn't want to displease our long-term fans, but yet we wanted to make something new and exciting for the fans of today and the future. So it was like, this was kind of like a foundational album. You know what I mean? It's like starting all over.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your question?
Yeah, my question was about the creative process, because it took quite a long since you put the band together a few years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, 25 or so members later, I've been searching, particularly, the lion's share of my life since 1979 for the right mashup, and I found it. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So part of the process was just finding the right people that were dedicated and loyal, and kind of got what the underlying concepts of Possessed are, which are quite. They're kind of profound in their own way because more than just timing and phrasing and the musicality of it, there's something that gets into your soul with Possessed. I mean, no kidding, like something that's like inexplicable that you just have to get, and the only way you can get that is by touring the old shit for well over a decade, which we did, And these guys are like, they've been touring with me, like 3 times as long as the original lineup. And so they got it now, and it just felt right. And then of course, part of the process was the writing, which went fairly quick once we were signed. And so, we write pretty fast. And, within a year, we did the lion's share of writing. And so it was a matter of kind of like, breaking down to the guys. Initially, I had to like kind of explain part by part, how to play. Well, I mean, these guys are really quick; they're pros. So they got the actual music down. I mean, Danielle always came with 18 songs already known. First note he played, and the other guitarist for Possessed, and same with Claudius, and same with Bobby or Robert, and same with Emilio. They're really quick, but yet, there was a lot of fine tuning and touches and. Explaining, the actual, just small corrections, and even corrections to the old stuff, And so that was a process, and which, luckily these guys are, they're pros, so it went relatively quick, the writing process. But in order to get the band in the skin of Possessed is what took the lion's share of the time.
Okay, I see. So, but was it very different to work with Nuclear Blast compared to the old days of Combat Records, or like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're not just out trying to, they're like they're really into metal. You know what I mean? We don't talk about like contractual stuff, or I don't have to worry about getting paid. I mean, they're really fair. And plus I manage Possessed now, so. So everything's in hat. The attorneys take care of the fine details, and we just talk about music and be friends.
Okay.
So it's a lot better. It's much better.
Yeah, much better. So have you kept contact with your old bandmates? Because all the current musicians are like, yeah, not from the original lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I was only with those guys, 35 years or over 3 decades ago. And, I have to respect their decision Larry's decision to move on. Every man has his own journey. But, that was a lifetime ago. I haven't talked to those guys in over 3 decades.
Yeah. I see.
25 numbers later, I don't talk to, once somebody, quits the band, they move on with their life, and I respect that, I mean, I wouldn't mind talking to them, but.
Yeah, but you know what?
I tried to reach out a couple of times.
What I was surprised a little bit about was the fact that it's been like 30 years and the world has changed, and like maybe I know that you've been through a lot yourself personally, but then when listening to the lyrics, then they just like sound like the 80s. Do you sort of like are you still like interested in the same topics, or is it something that Possessed can only talk about death and?
No, I think that it's just a piece of me. I mean, I would like to think that I've grown as a man and a person, intellectually and musically, over the last, So what you do is you take, whenever the old guys left, you take that, you put it in a suitcase, and you pack it with you. You bring it on to the next realm, and you just kind of conglomerate and accrue, knowledge as you go on through college and through reading and literature. And I've always been really interested. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, I wrote the Word between 80 and 81 back with Marauder and Blizzard. So I wrote Burning in Hell in like 79 to 80, with it used to be a song called Hellraiser and Blizzard. And so yeah, I am pulling from the past, but yet, I'm also, I'm much older now, so I take that with me, and I read, and of course I'm extremely interested in Revelations, the Book of John, and the dark arts, and it's just kind of where I am as a person, and I'm trying to factor in current, today's world. And so yeah, it's just something that you just accrue over time, and you take that with you and try to instill that in the new stuff.
Yeah, and I couldn't help but notice when checking the current lineup that recorded the album, that many of your musicians had like Hispanic names, and I don't know if that's a coincidence, or is this kind of subculture of like Latinos there, like in death metal in where you live, or?
Well, I'm Mexican, and I guess we kind of gravitate to our own people. But yeah, I mean, I identify as Hispanic, and I guess it's just kind of coincidence. It's California, So California has a large populace of Hispanics. I mean, it's the predominant, or the most ethnic, cultural race in California. So.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's very cool to hear. And since I'm like from South America myself, and like we tend to have some pride in the Latino community.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got that corazón. We got that heart.
Yeah.
And like the best. I think of course Claudius is white as hell, so it's not like we're leaving out any race. It's coincidence because it's California.
Yeah. So, do you have any favorite tracks in the new album?
Well, I like the ones I wrote, of course. But I dig all the songs. I mean, they made it to the album, and I'm equally as proud of each of the songs, and the effort that my guys really put forth for this is that we put a tremendous first foot forward and laid the foundations for the future, and with respect to the past. So yeah, I like all the songs, and we took a lot of time and care and crafting, and a lot of shit hit the scrap room floor. So I like all the songs, but of course, the ones I wrote, like the Demon or Ritual, or I wrote on Shadow Cult, and all those ones, the Words, and The Word is an old song, and a lot of people compare it to black metal, but man, I wrote that when I was a kid, so I guess we were weird kids. We're kind of forward thinking, and not to sound conceited, but we put a lot into it, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah. What about the upcoming tour? Like soon you'll be playing some big festivals in Europe and some headlining shows, and how are the preparations going at the moment?
Well, good. We're going to leave on May 31st. We're going to get a few days of practice and then, fly off to Europe and do our thing again. We pretty much go to Europe every year. And when I come home, I'm organizing, some tours around fall in the United States. And, we got a lot of cool, big offers, but yet we want to tour with bands that are, death metal and as appealing as it is to tour with some of these larger acts. At the same time, we want to kind of, we enjoy playing, death metal, playing with some OG bands, and we're just looking for the right opportunities and always, looking out. Of course, it'd be nice to play a stadium tour or whatever, but that's just kind of one of those bands that lives and dies in the club circuit, and those festivals are mighty cool, and we like it all.
Yeah, and talking about festivals and gigs, like, do you have any special memories from any favorite Possessed show back in the 80s or after your comeback?
Well, I enjoy every show. I mean, I love playing, and of course, when we came back, even though my band wasn't like up to speed, and nor was I loved the first festival we ever played was in 2007 at the Wacken in Germany, and that was kind of when I knew like I had to get my shit together and get a real version of Possessed, because like I didn't know that people were so into it, and so it was a really, really pleasant surprise. It was very emotional, and it just feels good to be back out there and playing, and every show is equally as important to all of us, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, like, what is your take on the current state of metal scene in Europe, in the US? Because like in Europe, there's some metal albums topping the charts, and I don't think it's the same situation there.
Well, I mean, the US shows are usually much smaller, and but also really challenging in and of themselves, because say we play the Bay Area, like people are really hypercritical. They're checking us out, and there's no freebies in anywhere really. I mean, we just do the best we can, and each market is completely individual and by itself. But I'd like to see the States get as big back into metal as like say Europe, but then again, they're like, if you go to Los Angeles, man, it's such a vibrant scene, and of course the San Francisco, the SFA area, there's a really vibrant scene, and but it's much more hardcore, like there's not the casual listeners in the States like in Europe, and so it's all equally as important. But I would like to kind of blow up and exploit the hell out of death metal in the States as much as possible, and like to see more people out there. And I think that's the end all and be all of every band, is try to grow and ever expand their fans, whether they'd like to admit that or not. The more people listen to our music, the better off it is, because we want to share what we have.
Yeah, exactly. And well, you're referred as the creator of death metal, and since the 80s, that scene or genre has expanded in many directions across the world. I wanted to ask you whether you embrace that legacy, and do you follow that scene actively?
Of course. I mean, there's so many great bands. Possessed for years was the only death metal band in the world. And so the term death metal hadn't been widely recognized at all. I mean, Possessed was the only death metal band for at least a couple years. And so what we did is, we didn't know it was going to turn into a genre, but we thought that Possessed would be the only death metal band. That's what would kind of segregate us to make us special. naively, because it's kind of a stupid thought. And but then when death metal started taking off, we made each album individually as different as possible so that we didn't get pigeonholed or buttonholed, into the same kind of like Seven Churches over and over again. But then, when bands like Death and Necrophage and Obituary and Morbid Angel and all those start turning death metal, then it made it easier because there's a wider expanse. And today, with all the current, there's so many great death metal bands from the best to the worst. I think it kind of is all-encompassing kind of conglomerate of what is now more possible to play and be recognized as death metal. And in fact, I would go so far to say that today, death metal, if not one of it may be the most exciting genre in music today, because much like, as corny as it sounds, like the golden age of jazz when everything was just exponentially growing in the possibilities. Today we see everything from folk death metal to technical death metal and everything in between, from the Cookie Monster blast beats to the Viking stuff to it makes it easier to write and create and be recognized as a death metal band, and it's just a really exciting time for death metal right now.
Yeah, and some melodic death metal bands have gone really popular. Maybe it's more appealing to the common audience, or maybe they have incorporated more commercial elements. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, Possessed, I think that any band with any modicum of success and fan base, people are digging what they do. Now, Possessed is kind of always taking pride in our originality and our core structure, but yet, like I say, we wanted to make this kind of a foundational album, and then kind of explore new topics and stuff. I wouldn't go so far to say that we're going to get experimental, because Possessed, needs to sound like Possessed. We're proud of our sound, but yet, we're always looking for that edge of originality, and I think like every band is, and trying to just write and expand, our repertoire and our lexicon, and get as much music as possible out there, and really show the world that Possessed is like the real deal. Like, this is what we live, eat, and breathe and sleep on. It's our blood, sweat, and tears, and we just really want to put a name for ourselves out there, and show people that you can teach an old dog new tricks, but at the same time, we like our existing tricks too,
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, when I began listening to metal and you start discovering new bands and looking for new stuff, and Seven Churches came in every list of you have to have this album, you have to listen to this thing, and I wanted to ask you, what does Seven Churches mean to you personally?
Oh, well, I mean, I owe a lot to those old guys, and I love them, and I still think of them as my brothers. And those were good times. I was a child back then. I was 16 years old on Seven Churches. Larry was 15, And so back then, we were really rebellious. We were trying to make, the hardest, strongest music. We wanted to be the heaviest band on the planet. And back at that time, I think we achieved that. But yeah, Possessed means a lot to me, the old and the new and everything in between. Of course, I'm most interested in what I'm doing currently, but, we have all of that. It's not like we have to pick or choose. They're all offerings up to, our fan base and our public and to the world. And I think that it's important, to keep the past and not throw out the baby with the bathwater,
Yeah. So let's come back to the present then. I understood that you have a 3-record deal with Nuclear Blast, and is that right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have a contractual for 3 albums and a bunch of bonus tracks and videos, and it's a solid contract, and we're really, I'm already writing for the second album now, and yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, and I was talking to Gerardo Martinez, the head of Nuclear Blast USA, who was Jeff Wagemaker from the head of A&R management for Nuclear Blast Europe. And what they told me is, I can make 25 fucking albums if I want. So, I got a home here, and I'm going to just start making music.
Yeah. So you're writing at the moment, like, and we expect the album to come out like next year or 2 years from now.
Well, contractually, I got to make one every year. But yet, Nuclear Blast isn't that way. They're like, do what you need to do and just make us some good music. So.
Okay, yeah. So no hurries with that. So, well, I had another.
It's not going to be 33 years.
Yeah, well, that's what I was assuming, that it won't be the same. So like you said,
of course, there's a drive to put out our music is quickly so that we can renegotiate and move forward. I mean, but that's just the business end of it. But of course, I've been wintering for 33 years since the last album, so I'm dying to get new material out there and kind of show the world what we can do now and really just make some good music that people can rock out to.
Yeah, but you mentioned that some of the tracks in the Revelations of Oblivion were old tracks. Do you still have some old ideas that you haven't been published yet, or like do you have to?
Oh yeah, I've got hundreds of riffs, and so I mean, writing new riffs every day, and so are my guys. So yeah, I mean, the material is not a problem.
Okay, that's cool. What about your live performances? Like, I wanted to ask, like, since you've been like on a wheelchair, and maybe I think that your lungs were pretty damaged, but your voice sounds so strong still, like in the live footage that I've seen. Like, how is it like working for you?
Hold on, I think we're cutting up a little bit. No, my lungs are fine. Everything's fine. I'm like any other person, but I sit down. The wheelchair is not too much of an encumbrance. It's more that like I could play bass on stage, but it's hard to do a show when you're holding a bass in a wheelchair. I'd have to have like a vocal mic strapped to my head, and it just rather than do all that, I'd rather try to put on a better show, so that visually and some more, I'd like to roll around and So it's a shame that I can't play bass anymore. But other than that, these stages are made to lug heavy equipment up there, and a wheelchair is no big deal.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to thank you for your time and you being such an inspiring figure in the extreme metal scene. It's been an honor for me to talk with you.
Well, the honor's all mine, and I appreciate your time and efforts and your journalistic integrity. It's really just nice to have some interest. Have people of your caliber interested and Possessed, and the new Possessed, and I'm just hoping to make people happy and put out some really good music.
Yeah. Do you have any message for your readers here in Metal Shock Finland and your fans around the world?
Yeah, well, I love you, Finland, and we had a great time. Last time I was out there, we were partying with Mayhem and playing the Aloe Metal Festival, and I have my real band now, so I'm dying to get back out there and show off my new guys, and I love Finland, and I can't wait to get back there.
Yeah, hopefully things get sorted out and someone bring you here like for a headlining show. So have a nice day, Jeff, and congratulations on the album and good luck with the tour.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Okay, ciao.